This is just an ordinary roundabout built in City Skylines, but I'm going to show you 3 alternative designs or upgrades with multi-level roads that you can try building in your cities to improve traffic and also to simply build something more interesting here and there, to have more variety of junctions. Now, we are going to start with the one that you are probably already familiar with, and that is just providing a separate road for going straight through. Now, I'm going to be building that with the vanilla Overpass project. Now, to introduce that, if you don't know it, it's basically a set of roads that are going to allow you to build very compact and neat-looking entrances into elevated ramps from the median of these large roads. So that's actually looking very, very good. I very like building with them. I already used them in, for example, Aurelia series. So, in order to do that, we need to prepare 3 segments in front of the intersection, and 2 of them at the start kind of need to be a bit short. So I'm just going to use the network multi-tool, and as you can see, we have these 2 long segments. So in here, I'm just going to divide that in 2. Yeah, this sometimes happens, the traffic just stops, but don't worry, that's going to be fixed soon after we do these changes. I'm going to pause the game anyway. So now I'm going to go into the roads, I'm going to go into the large tabs, large roads, and in here I have these vanilla Overpass project roads. Now they are called ABC. I'm just going to use the one that has 2 lanes everywhere. This is not really like a vanilla Overpass project tutorial, but I'm going to just quickly go through some of these options, okay? So we have the ABC roads. They are basically the transitions into these. So you are immediately going to see how it works. I'm just going to use the road A to upgrade the 3rd segment, then the 2nd one for B, and C for the one that's connecting all the way to the roundabout, okay? As you can see, these are the transitions. This one is with the clipping through the center. This is just with a large median. I'm gonna go now into the small roads. I'm gonna take the VOP2 lane, that's the one with 2 ways, 1 lane each. And I'm just going to do elevate it with the fine road tools, and I'm going to click this node right here and just build it off the road a bit. I'm going to raise it with move it into some reasonable height, which can be obviously changed later. And with holding Alt, I'm going to make it parallel to these roads. Okay, and that's basically it. Now we of course need to make it so that there is a 6-lane road in here, the large vanilla road, because we need to have that transition into the turning point. Now in here we need to have the continuation of this ramp, so that's going to be exactly the same road as before, but this time it's going to be the bridge segment, because this set of roads has very cleverly these kinds of either bridge segments, or the elevated ones have this like just a block of concrete below them, so that's looking very, very neat. Now we're just going to fiddle with move it, for example, bring this closer to the intersection like this, and you know, do all kinds of changes that we want to. Of course, we have to make this transition segment very, very short as is needed, so that the textures, as you can see, are nicely going to align like that. So that's very good. Now, in my experience, you do need to then use these junction restrictions with the traffic manager right on this node and block people from crossing it, because there is technically a crosswalk and it's just looking very bad. You cannot click this crosswalk for some reason, but in my experience this is enough. Then what you need to do is take the lane connector and make sure that all these lanes are going to go straight through. Now you cannot really do this, in my experience, on this node. You cannot do that with the shortcut. You can do it here, but on this node it's just going to create all kinds of weird connections, so it's best to do it manually. And obviously over here this is going to look you know, something like this, and obviously people can still go straight through, so something like that. And then you can easily just use the node controller to make the corner offset here slightly larger, so the intersection is bigger. You might, for example, add a crossing in here, or just use it completely custom, doesn't really matter. And then maybe take the intersection marking tool and create some kind of a nice transition over here, for example. Continue the median with the grass or something like that. So that's going to look all very... Oh yeah, and by the way, this is something that can happen to you. The texture on this transition, it might be facing the other way around. Now, in my experience, it's best to just demolish it and build it from scratch. You need to probably build it, yeah, you need to start from the node where the transition marking is going to reach the 1 point, right? That kind of makes sense that you need to build it that way. Okay, so that's just one thing that might be a bit of a problem at first. Okay, so that is the first design that you can try with the bypass road going straight above the roundabout using the vanilla overpass project and just fiddling with the transitions, also with the vanilla overpass roads and the intersection marking tools and the node controller. And as you can see, the transition is working really nicely. You can see the cars just quickly going into those center lanes. Is just looking really, really good. So that's just one alternative that you can try. The second type I'm going to show you is called the 4 flyover roundabout, and it's very similar to this one, but it's not going to provide the separate way of going straight, but it's going to provide separate ways of going left from the main direction, which I chose to be this road, of course. Now, we can, in City Skylines, we can build it using the Vanilla Overpass project as well. So I'm going to show you how would we do that. Now, we are going to do some kind of changes on the entrances over here because we need to change these roads and how they look like. I'm going to delete my beautiful markings from this road, for example, because we don't need them anymore. And we are going to change the input road into a 4+2 road. I'm not really sure, but I think, yep, this is the Network Extensions 2 mod. And we're just going to make it like this. So we have two ways going left, okay? Now, then we are going to go into these roads. As you can see here, we have these brackets, 2 and 2. And we're going to use the A2 for entrance. Actually, A1 looks like, because, yep, that's going to match the median here. And then we're going to use the B for down here and C for the connection to the roundabout. Then we're going to go into the small roads. And in here, I'm just going to use the one-way ramp, which is the blue line, okay? And that's what I'm going to use here. So this one is obviously going to be switched, the one that's elevated. In here, we are going to delete it. And we need to now prepare the overpass entrances on all 4 of these roads. So I'm going to just quickly do that. Okay, so I finally have that finished, and as you can see, it's very important to make sure that the main roads, the one that's this way, this direction, is having this 4+2 roads so that the cars are going to turn into these lanes, okay? As you can see, they need to turn into the ramp, and all the left turns, so these rows, they need to have it so that they are going to be exiting from it, okay? So that's kind of important to set that up. This one has it the same, and obviously this one has it on the entrance too. Now we are going to complete this, and we're obviously not going to connect it straight, but we're going to make the turns. So I'm going to make this left turn, obviously using the bridge segment. I'm gonna do this, and from this direction, I'm gonna do this. There we go. I'm gonna make sure with Move It that it's at the same height. It should be already, and we also need to make sure that all of these other ramps are oriented the same way. So this one needs to go down here, and this one also needs to go down here. All right. Now, the one last thing that we need to do are obviously those lane connectors and also the junction markings, the restrictions. This is kind of important to set up. As you can see, this didn't change over here, and the lane arrows or the lane connections, they did. Oh, and yeah, you need to make sure that these A1s or A2 roads, the entrances, the transitions, they are oriented the same way, okay, so that the lane connectors are going to work. So if I'm going to click this entrance node and hit Control S to do the stay in lane markings, then they are actually going to look like they stay in lane, okay? So if I delete this, for example, and I'm just going to turn it around, as you can see, it doesn't really change. It's only going to puff the smoke. That's going to give you an indication that something happened, but now it's oriented the opposite way, and if I click Control S, it's just going to do a completely weird lines, okay? So that's an indication that it's wrong, and you need to make sure that you have the upgrade road tool, and you're just going to right click this and upgrade it the correct way, and then it's going to look like it stays in lane. All right, so this road again doesn't really work for some reason, but this one is actually fine. As you can see that these lanes can be made to stay in lane, but they just need to be done manually. All right, so I would just do this for all 4 of the directions. Okay, so all of the lane connectors are set up, and as you can see, it's working really well. The traffic is nicely just using these kinds of bypass roads to just bypass the left turns and use these. And just like before, these transitions into these ramps are looking really good. I really like how the traffic is just smoothly going in it. We have some more traffic coming from this, so this direction is probably going to look even a bit more impressive, and I just like it. I just really do like how this is working. It was not really that difficult to set up. It was slightly more difficult than the previous one, but it's still just, quite easy thing to do with the vanilla overpass project. Now, to be completely honest, if I was doing this with like more details and everything, I would probably go using the technique of just sinking these bypass roads, making them go under the roundabout, and that is actually kind of the realistic or the real life justification for these. That's why it's called 4 flyover, because there are supposed to be 4 bridges at these like crossings between the different levels, right? So it's supposed to be kind of sunken, but you can obviously just do it whatever you want. I usually would probably go for a sunken variant, but with the vanilla overpass project, this is just so easy to set up. It's obviously requiring a bit longer entrance and exit roads, so this is not really something for like an urban dense environment, because if you had like intersections very close to the roundabout, then this entrance to the ramp would have to be either super short or just much shorter, or this just needs to be on a very straight and uninterrupted road. But that's obviously up to you to just apply this design in your cities, in your environments. That I'm just showing you the possibilities, right? I'm not really forcing you to build it absolutely everywhere. Anyway, moving on, and we are going to do the best for last, and that is going to be the third roundabout, which is called the target roundabout. And it's looking really cool in like blueprints, so hopefully it's going to look even cooler in City Skylines. Let's go build it. Okay, so the target roundabout, what exactly is it? It's basically a 2-level roundabout. It looks really cool. It has the 2 circles on different levels and connections into both of them. So it's looking really interesting, and I would really like to see how that's going to work in City Skylines. So let's go build it. And I'm going to use a technique that's probably a bit unconventional, and if you're not using like mods or you want to do this in vanilla, then you probably need to do it a bit differently, uglier obviously, but I'm just going to use a couple of mods to make it a bit more compact. So at first, I'm just going to prepare the entrances and exits somewhere off the main road, okay? Because this is going to be then easier. I'm then going to just use move it and copy paste it into the road or into the place. So I'm going to prepare 2 segments of this entrance road. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take any kind of 2-lane one-way road, but in this particular case I would really like to actually go back into using the one-way road from the vanilla overpass, because it doesn't have the parking lots, parking lanes, and it's narrower. So I'm not really sure, but I think that the network extensions road, or network extensions mod, doesn't really have that kind of road. So this one is actually kind of convenient. I'm going to build it so it goes into the road. And I do really need to have 2 segments in here, okay? I'm going to use it using the grid snapping, because I really want it to be parallel to that road. Then I'm going to take, for example, the asymmetrical 3-lane road. It's important that I pick a 2+1 road. It doesn't really matter if this one in particular. Actually, you might even do this using highways, because realistically people are not going to walk on this complicated roundabout. So, you might do it with, for example, the Shuto expressways. Those might be looking really cool and very compact. Now this one I'm going to orient this way so that the 2 lanes are going, like this. Hopefully that's right. I'm not really exactly sure. Yes, that is right. Now I'm going to pick these 2 roads. I'm actually going to only choose nodes, and I'm going to make them go roughly as an extension of that big road. Then I'm going to connect it together. And then we will have to kind of fiddle with it so that the transition looks good. Okay, I kind of ran out of patience, so I'm just going to brute force it with the node controller. And I'm just going to do the corner offsets on these kinds of roads, maybe a bit fiddle with the backwards directions here. And I'm really going to try to make it much smoother, as you can see. Pretty much just like this. There we go. That's looking very good. Yeah, it's not exactly aligned in like one straight line, the edges, but I'm just creating like a short showcase in here. Now, I might as well already prepare the markings as well, because this is just going to be copy-pasted in the entire thing, so why not prepare it fully? And yeah, I'm just really quickly trying to do these markings, even to show you how this road is actually supposed to be working, okay? So yeah, like this. Now, I'm not exactly sure if you're going to copy-paste with Move It, these kinds of network extensions connections, or sorry, the traffic manager connections, lane connectors, if that's going to be copy pasted with it. I suppose we're going to try and see how that's going to work. Anyway, the point is that these two roads are going to go into the different levels of the roundabout. So one of them is either going to be elevated or elevated or surface, and they are kind of going to alter between those types. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to just clip away these connections, and I'm going to just copy paste this in. So I'm going to hold Alt just so that it's going to snap to that segment. There we go. And I'm just going to delete this and put it back. I'm just going to use the pipette and grab that road with the network skins, of course. And I'm going to do the same exact thing on all of these roads. It's kind of important to prepare this, I suppose, a bit in advance. And, well, it's not really that necessary, I guess. It's just important that you're going to get it kind of right with these lengths. But I suppose it might be just a matter of time before you set that up. And you don't even need to do that, because if you hold Alt with Move It, you can obviously snap even to the segments, as you can see right here. For example, this road is a bit longer than it needed to be there, so I'm just going to do this, and all of these roads I'm just going to clip off and complete them by just building it, you know, the normal way, I suppose. So that's going to be the start. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare those different levels and make the roads go into those different levels. Now this roundabout we no longer need, so I'm just going to move it away. I'm actually going to let the game run for a while just so the traffic clears and we have a bit of a clearer playing field. And this is now very important. I'm actually looking at a little bit of a picture of this on my second monitor because I really want to make this right. So these bigger roads that are facing each other, these need to go higher, okay? And we might actually already make them and turn them into the elevated segments. So I'm just gonna take the network fine road tools, of course. I'm gonna make them like this. Now on those perpendicular roads, it's going to be exactly the opposite. So that's exactly what I was talking about. So these are going to be elevated, and those are the ones that will go into the same height as these roads. Now we need to do the most important thing, and that is going to be setting the center of the roundabout. I'm going to be using the Roundabout Builder mod, but that mod requires some center intersection, which is going to serve as the center of the circle, the geometrical center, of course. Now we want to have it so that it's very, very precisely built. So what are we going to do is we are going to make that center in like a virtual center point of these big roads, okay? So that's going to be very important to set that up. Now, for that purpose, I'm going to take any kind of different road. For example, this just a basic vanilla road. I'm going to just build it slightly off the center. I'm going to move it, and I'm going to just, again, with holding Alt, I'm going to move it so that it snaps into that center point right there, okay? As you can see, it's supposed to be obviously the same as in here. Now, I'm going to take that road again. I can, for example, take the picker with Move It and just rotate it 90 degrees and connect it just like this. Now what I'm going to do very, very simply is I'm going to take the network multi-tool intersection, or what is it called? Intersect segments mode. Yep. And I'm just going to create this intersection. That's going to serve as the center of these roads. Now I can, for example, put these roads higher, or first I can clip them off. That's going to be kind of easier to then continue. So I'm just going to clip them off like that. Obviously keeping the nodes or the center node in place and some of these segments that are connecting to it. Now I'm going to make these nodes go slightly further into this, and I'm going to connect them into these roads. But they don't need to be all that precise, because I'm going to later show you in just a couple of seconds the magic of the network, or sorry, the roundabout builder. So we're gonna just connect it. It's very important that it's just connected, and everything else is kind of not needed right now to make it that precise. I'm gonna make it all into one height, and let's do the magic. So now I'm going to take the network multi-tool. We're gonna take no, actually not network multi-tool, the roundabout builder, which is the Control O. I'm going to pick the radius of, for example, 55. I kind of want to have it big. And, well, actually 50 was enough. And I'm just going to click this road and watch this. Boom, there we go. That's our first circle of the roundabout. Very, very nice, isn't it? Now we are going to do exactly, oh, sorry, I'm just going to close this. We're going to do exactly the same thing with the lower roads. So I'm already just going to prepare them, going to make them go like this, kind of close to each other. And later we are going to create that segment, the intersecting segment. Now actually the intersecting segment right now is going to be much easier to be built because now we can actually use the upper roundabout that we already prepared here. I'm just going to do the same thing as before. In here, unfortunately, I need to clip off some of these nodes on these roads before I can... Come on, there we go. Before we can create that intersection, just like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just connect all of these roads down below into this center node. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure that it's going to be the surface variant of these roads. And where is it? I'm going to turn off move it. I'm going to take the picker again and connect these roads. Now I can just destroy that upper circle, don't need it anymore, and gonna make sure that all of these nodes down here are on the surface. Now the lower roundabout, again, I'm gonna hit Control O, and we're going to make it slightly smaller just so it's neatly going inside the circle. We might put it to like 35, for example. Yeah, that's looking fine. So there we go, and that is the second circle down below. Now we are going to set up the correct types of roads and all these kinds of lanes. Now, one half of these roads are going to be symmetrically turned into 1 lanes, and these other ones are just going to be kept 2 lanes. So I'm just going to start with this direction, for example. So let's imagine it, okay? So you want to go and turn right from this road. So you're just going to go up, you're going to keep to the rightmost lane. You're gonna turn right on this road. And then you're just going to exit on this ramp going down like this. Very, very simple, right? You're just going to continue on your way. Now, let's say that you want to go straight. Well, that means that you're just going to go into that leftmost lane on the upper roundabout. Here you can continue. How is this actually looking? Well, in here, that's going to be a bit of a change because in here we don't need to have a 2-lane road. So do I have any kind of 1-lane road? I only have the road from the network extensions, but unfortunately that one doesn't have a 1-lane road. So I'm kind of forced to use the vanilla highway, for example. But in this particular case, I definitely would use the Shuto expressways or just some kind of different roads where I would really have that 1-lane road. Or I could, well, let me actually show you because that might be a really cool thing to do. I am going to use the intersection marking tools, and I'm just going to make 1 lane in here turned into some kind of markings, or maybe even like pavement or something, okay? So, oh yeah, I'll just keep it as a filler, doesn't really matter. I'm going to copy these markings, and I'm just going to paste them over here and apply. Now I'm just going to return back to what we were doing with those lane connectors. So if you want to go straight through the roundabout, you're just going to continue straight. And in here, you're going to turn outside of the road. Very, very simple. Now, if you want to turn left, then you're going to continue on this red line, but you're just going to turn in here, you're going to go straight, okay? And over here, you're just going to turn outside of the roundabout, okay? Or actually, this might be, let's keep it like this, so that the right turns are going to have their own lane like that, okay? That's going to be the best. You could make it with this blue line to turn it down like that, but obviously that's just going to create more intersecting points. even though there's obviously going to be this kind of intersecting point anyway. But you know, that's just a roundabout that kind of needs to be like that. The same thing is going to be done down there. So all these longer roads, actually, where you have the 2-lane road on the upper part of the roundabout, you're going to have a 1-lane road on the lower part of the roundabout, okay? Now, if you are going from the side road, it's exactly the same situation. So if you want to turn right, you're just going to continue into the rightmost lane and going to make your turn down. If you want to go straight, you're just going to turn into the leftmost lane, continue straight over here, and then make the turn into the road. In here, you could theoretically make the turn. Well, actually, no. This is the only way people can turn, because cars cannot enter it in here. I was a bit confused there for a second, but no, I'm fine. Okay. So that's it. And obviously, if you want to turn left, then you need to continue straight in here and then make the turn right there, okay? And people can also, of course, continue straight. So anyway, I'm just going to copy or continue these lane markings, and then I'm going to show you how it's performing. All right, so this is the finished target roundabout with even better markings than we did before. As you can see, I played a bit with the intersection marking tool, and I actually made it look kind of good. Even though I'm using mostly vanilla roads, the intersection marking tools are just going to make it so much better. And I suppose I'm going to try to position the camera right here. I'm going to try not to move it while I talk, because it might give you a better idea how this works, especially now that I basically blocked all the black asphalt that's not used by the intersection marking tools, either grass or the pavement. So it's just going to give you a better overview of the different lanes and how this is working. As you can see, I also completed the solid lines on some of the segments inside the roundabout, which is going to really tell you that we do have those somewhat protected, not exactly like super divided, but at least like painted divider there is for the right turns, okay? So the right turns have absolutely uninterrupted path into the intersection. Anyway, guys, that's just the 3 examples that I wanted to show you. You can obviously just adapt this to your situation in your cities, use different kind of roads, different markings, and whatever, okay? But these are just an examples. Anyway, that's going to be all from this video. Thank you for watching it. If you found it helpful, then you can put a thumbs up below the video, write a comment, subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and become a channel member if you want to directly support this channel. Thank you for watching again, and goodbye.